with the dirt. We got Todd McMillion here.
Hi, Todd.
Hi, Todd.
Hi.
Hi.
How is everybody?
Good, how are you?
We are
Excellent.
good.
Thank you.
So what'd you do today?
What did I do today? I ran, of course.
Yeah.
I ran the trails. I did a push, pull, plank, run while I was running.
Okay,
And
how
if
does
you
that
look,
work?
well, how does that work? So I stop ever so often and do my push-ups.
Okay.
And then I found a nice tree branch to do my pull-ups.
Okay.
And did planks along
A
the
little
way.
cross training.
Wow.
thrown in.
Wow.
Of course.
Nice.
How long was your plank?
I do 6 minutes.
Oh my
Liz, you
God.
gotta up your ante,
I'm
Liz.
so glad you weren't there for the plank off. Did you
She
hear
did a
about the
3
plank
minute
off?
plank.
I heard about the plank off, and I actually saw the.
Oh, you saw
3
the
minutes.
I
picture?
saw the
Yeah.
video. Yeah.
That was the
Or
long.
the picture.
That was only up to 2 before that, but I
Okay.
was like feeling like I wanted.
You
it.
wanted to beat
I
everybody
wanted
else.
to beat everybody.
She was competitive.
a
So
little.
that was my day. It was, a typical day for me.
Yeah. So you've been doing planks and push-ups for how long now? I know you're on a streak.
This started in January of 2018.
Yeah.
Your friend and mine, Cheryl Zwerkowski.
Yeah.
She started this group on Facebook, the push-up challenge.
Yeah.
And we started on January 1st, 2018. And then on February 1st, 2018, I started with the planks as well. So I've consistently, every day, done
Wow.
that since. And then added pull-ups on January 1st, 2019.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And what I can say about it is that it's such a simple thing to do. You can do anywhere.
Yeah.
And it is like totally transformed my level of fitness.
I've seen it. I mean, I can tell that
yeah,
it has.
it's unbelievable.
And you were super fit, actually,
I was fit
before.
already. Yes.
But it is a whole new level.
Yes, a whole new level.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it doesn't take any time up from your day.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done them in the airport. I've done them just about everywhere.
Yeah.
Have you done them in the bathroom?
I have done them in the bathroom. But I
have
put
too.
down towels, though.
Oh, do you? I
Paper towels?
don't. I don't
Ooh,
care. I just
that's
wash
gross.
my hands. I just wash my hands. I just figure, I just so wash my hands.
Yeah, some stuff might not come off.
Yeah.
It really I'm selective about the bathroom. Yeah.
Okay.
Not just a, not a,
Not
like
just
a
any
gas
bathroom.
station bathroom.
Not like the porta potties or.
No.
Yeah, that'd be difficult.
Yes. So.
Yeah, well, Todd and I, we got to know each other really well because we did a run across Illinois
Oh yeah.
for mental health awareness.
Oh yeah.
And we stayed at his home.
Mm-hmm.
And for how many days? Like
2
2 days.
You were supposed to stay there one day, and there was conversation on day 2 when Lisa and I ran with all of you, and you decided by the end of the day that, hey, I think we should just drive back to Todd's house and stay there again, and then we'll drive
Because
back
it was
to our.
really nice.
Yeah,
They fed
Michele
us
was
good
talking about
food.
how nice it was to
Yeah,
stay
I
at your
see
house.
pictures of like you looking out, having coffee or something lately,
Yes.
and looking out, and I'm like, wow, that
Yeah,
looks
every day.
nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Did you see
beautiful.
my picture I posted?
I did.
It's not quite the view, is it?
Well.
I know.
You have your cat outside with you. Do you bring your cat
Well,
outside with you, Todd?
I don't bring her
Sometimes,
out
yeah.
with me, but I have a cat that behaves like a dog
Okay.
because she grew up from the time she was a kitten with our Pomeranian.
Yeah.
She goes on a tie out to go outdoors.
Oh, cool.
That's what I do with my cat.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like 18 pounds, and I put him on
Yeah.
a little lead. And I have a girlfriend that made fun of me. She started laughing. She goes, "Wait, is your cat on a dog leash?" I'm like, "Do you get
Yeah.
dog leash?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's wrong with that?"
Yeah, I just
That's
put
awesome.
her out. I just tie her out in the backyard, and she spends her time out
Aw,
there. and
that's
enjoys it.
so sweet.
I have to send a reminder though, so I
forgot about him last week.
so I remember to go get her.
Oh,
Yeah.
you set a timer. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Funny.
And then you did Kettle 100 this year.
I did.
That was a tough. I had a lot emotion and community behind it.
Yeah. Yes, it did, and it was my second attempt at 100.
Okay.
I DNF'd in Mines of Spain almost a year ago now. It was in October.
Oh yeah.
And I DNF'd at mile 72, and then just immediately after that, I knew I'd already picked my race.
Yeah.
That I was gonna do Kettle,
Okay.
and so Kettle was definitely a big challenge for me. Obviously, the training leading up to 100 is always challenging, and it's very time consuming. But and as all of you know, a couple weeks before Kettle, my wife died by suicide.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a very difficult thing to do, but it's also something that she requested
Yeah.
me to do. So that kind of made it, I mean, I had so much riding on it emotionally
Yeah.
that I just felt that I had to finish.
Yeah.
You know, and that last 38-mile out and back was just so incredibly brutal. Mm-hmm. It's a great race.
Yeah.
The first half is pretty easy. The second half, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to
But
know.
I had a huge amount of support for that race. I think more than maybe you would normally get for a 100-mile effort. I mean, I had my crew, who probably would have been there anyway. But
Yeah.
there was an exceptional amount of support on the course as well for people who knew the story.
Yeah.
And I was getting a lot of hugs along the way from random people and a lot of people talking to me and saying they really appreciated the fact that I was being open about what happened and really were, you know, very, I'd say very moved and very happy with the fact that I was sharing everything
Yeah.
and being open from the start.
And you were giving Lisa what she had asked.
Yes.
And so that there was no stopping.
There was no stopping.
Yeah.
No, it was
And
going to happen. There was no stopping. I had, she had a rosary that the cross had fallen off of, and I carried that with me in my pack, and it'll just be there always with me
Yeah.
now. I have it with me all the time. And, you know, it definitely, I touched that many times throughout the race and talked to her many times throughout the race because it was, as you know, it's finishing a 100-mile race is extremely emotional. It's extremely mentally and physically taxing. And at all those times when I was feeling that, you know, that need for extra energy, I would talk to her and touch the cross. And Lisa, it's the first time that I'd ever run an ultra without Lisa there with me
Yeah.
as my pacer or as my crew. So that was something else that was very unique in that. I had some really great support from my crew, and I had my captain who was there the entire weekend with me, every aid station, everything I needed. He was there, all set up, ready for me. I had
Saw
great
him everywhere.
yeah, everywhere. I had great pacers who I had. Well, Doug Rhodes was my captain, and he was at every aid station every time. I had Matthias Kemmerer, who actually was with me when I DNF'd at Mines of Spain.
Okay.
And I wanted him to be there again with me.
Yeah.
I wanted not only I wanted to, I think, give him some satisfaction as well.
Yeah.
To help me make it through. And then I had Jason Carter who finished Mines of Spain, and he and I ran all the way up until I DNF'd at mile
Didn't
72.
I was there. Did you have
You were?
stomach problems? Is that
I
what
did.
I remember?
I had stomach
Okay.
issues, which, you know,
Yeah, those are the worst.
it always
Oh,
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that after Mines of Spain, I just realized that this is always going to happen about mile 60, and I just have to deal with it.
Okay.
You just deal with it and
Yeah.
keep moving forward in pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I get stomach issues
And
after
race
mile
the
62, and I tried. I mean, I think Tailwind works really well, but
Not so much
Yeah.
for me, and maybe
Okay.
maybe it was mixing too strong. But I used no tailwind at Kettle.
okay.
Oh.
I was
mix
all
mine weak.
water.
I mix mine pretty.
Yeah, I
weak.
mix mine
don't
pretty weak,
like
too.
It. I don't like it the way they
I was
have
just-
it.
Water.
normal food, and S-tabs.
Nice.
And
That's
did you
it.
end up with any stomach problems at Kettle?
I did
Okay.
the same ones I always have about mile 60.
Okay.
So it didn't really make any difference.
Okay.
And I got to the point where the last 38 miles was very difficult to take food, water, the same thing that always happens. But I forced it down. And
Yeah.
I just, you know, again, I just felt that there was so much riding on me finishing.
Yeah.
I wanted to, you know, honor Lisa's wish, and that meant more to me than anything.
And then after Kettle, you celebrated Lisa as
Yeah.
well.
So after Kettle, Lisa made two requests. One was for me to finish Kettle, and the second was to spread her ashes in the ocean.
Uh-huh.
And I thought about it one day. Of course, all my best ideas come when I'm running.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's when my mind
that.
just seems to be the most clear.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about what she had asked, and I originally had thought that I would go to Maine, to Mount Desert Island, to Acadia National Forest. There, it's a park where, and a vacation that was just her favorite and mine, but by far. And I got to thinking more about that, and I wanted to make it bigger.
Yeah.
I wanted to honor her even more. So I took a trip in July, and I visited every ocean or large body of water that Lisa and I visited in our travels. So I flew to San Francisco and went immediately to Golden Gate Park. It was the first time that Lisa flew. And it was the first time, of course, that she ever saw the ocean as well.
Okay.
So I went and visited Golden Gate Park immediately when I landed. And at each of the locations, I did a dedication to Lisa. Some of those things were some poems that I had written, and then just I told some stories.
Uh-huh.
And then from there to Florida. And then once I landed in Florida, I drove up the East Coast to Maine. And then spent my last 4 days in Maine, and stopped along the way up the East Coast, which was just amazing. I wish I had allowed more time. I mean, I've been to New York City, but I literally drove right through it again.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C., I could see the Capitol, I could see everything, but I didn't have time built into my schedule to stop at those places.
I saw you did some climbing.
Mm-hmm.
I
when you were
did.
out there.
When we were in Maine, we were, active every single day, whether it be hiking or kayaking or rock climbing.
Yeah.
Which that experience for us was the first time for both. And so I essentially on my trip repeated everything that Lisa and I did. Added a few new things so I could create new memories for myself as well, but repeated the things that we did together. And rock climbing was one of those things. And Lisa was, she was scared half to death to do that. And it was a major thing for her to go over that edge and rappel down that first time and climb back up. It was so awesome. I mean, she was so proud of herself for doing that. I was proud of her for doing it. So I went and climbed again, and I couldn't have had a better guide. I told him right up front why I was there, what I was doing. And he just was unbelievable how he treated the whole day for me, and really took me to a special place. Where we climbed is a place called Otter Cliffs, and it goes right down to the Atlantic Ocean. So when you rappel to the bottom before you climb back, you're literally on a rock edge, and then the Atlantic Ocean is right there. So
how far did you rappel down?
It's probably about maybe 600 feet, 800 feet.
Can you guys do
And
that?
the rappel,
No, I
I've
can't
never
do
done
that.
it. I give it a try, but I don't know.
the rappel is the fun, easy part.
Okay.
The climb back up
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
is extreme. I mean, you're rock climbing.
Yeah.
He's not pulling you back up. He will assist you if you need help. I did
I'm sure you were
climbed
fine,
on my
yeah.
own, and talking about the fitness thing, I saw how much stronger I was this time than when we were there last time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw pictures of where you're at. I can't imagine if you
It was
got
so
down there
beautiful.
and then couldn't get back up.
Yeah.
Well,
Like you couldn't.
He would help. He set up 4 climbs for me.
Okay.
On the 4th climb, I was spent. I mean, my legs were shaking. I mean, he called it the Elvis leg.
Okay.
When you try to get your leg up and your leg just starts shaking. And,
Perfect.
yeah, so it was really intense. And but even on the last climb, he didn't give me any assistance. He really pushed me hard because
Yeah.
he knew that I wanted that experience.
Yeah.
That's
but-
cool.
I did test the safety one time. I went for a grab that I thought I could get with my right hand, and I couldn't get it. And thankfully there's safety ropes.
Wow.
So I fell back about 10 feet.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I could have not heard
I would have
that
had to
and been-
change my pants,
but
I
I
No, I'm
think.
just teasing.
But I think if you were there,
No,
you
you
feel
need
so
to.
completely. They make you feel so completely at ease, and the equipment that they have, and I just feel completely confident in what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Are you going to
it's
do it again?
Oh, absolutely. I'll do it again. I think I like this this climbing company there, Atlantic Climbing School. They're really excellent. And I would do it again there, but I would go to a different location. They go to a lot of different locations in that area, but Otter Cliffs is really just a beautiful location.
Yeah, would you go out because Zion's got some great climbing? Are you thinking of other places to go? Colorado has a lot of great climbing.
Yeah, I would definitely do it on I mean, I'm not going to go out and do some crazy free climb or anything,
Yeah.
but I would only go with with a guide or a school that was like setting everything up for you.
Yeah.
So I don't have to think about all of those things,
Yeah.
setting all of the anchors and all of those things that they know everything about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And so is that where you ended up, and then you came back home from there?
Yeah, so then I ended up in Maine and then flew home from there. I stopped along the way in Florida. I had a few stops there, but wasn't even in Florida. I think maybe 72 hours. I basically flew in there. It's hot in Florida in July.
Yeah.
It's really hot.
Awful in July
It's
and
awful.
August. Ooh,
You were
yeah.
ready to get up to Maine.
So and Lisa's sister lives there, so I stopped and visited them with them for one evening, and then continued my journey. But so there I was in Marco Island in Daytona, and then from there to the Outer Banks in North
I've
Carolina.
been there.
And that's one of my favorite places. It's just you can get a quarter mile down the beach and feel completely alone.
Yeah.
I was in Rodanthe, which is down quite a ways south once you get onto the Outer Banks,
Uh-huh.
and so it's pretty remote.
Yeah.
And there's such an awesome feeling. All you see is sand dunes and ocean.
Yeah.
Wow.
No people.
Yeah.
And that feeling of freedom is just amazing. Plus, the barefoot running there is incredible.
Yeah.
The beach
That
is
sounds so
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
Some beaches, like for example Marco Island, you can't barefoot run there because the sand is hard. It's a lot of shells. It's broken up, and it was difficult to run there. But yeah, the Outer Banks for running,
Nice.
amazing.
Bucket
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
Add
Yeah.
that to your bucket list,
I know.
Liz.
I should just write.
Should
this
just start
down.
writing
Yeah, you
Yeah,
start
okay,
writing
good.
stuff down,
Yeah.
and I can actually give you a
Voucher.
great place to stay there. I did Airbnbs, except for that I stayed with family a couple times along the way. But yeah, my hostess there was excellent, and the place was 2 houses away from the beach.
Nice.
Really excellent.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, I think that you become really good friends with anybody you meet. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy
Yeah.
who likes to introduce himself if he's your Facebook buddy, but he doesn't really know you.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
So this is
Yeah.
something new
Met
that
you
I
the other
started
day.
doing.
Yeah.
Actually, I've started. We have so many connections we've made through social media.
Yeah.
I haven't met a lot of those people face to face.
Yeah.
So I make an effort if I recognize them, because
Yeah.
sometimes I don't recognize them, to go up to them and introduce myself. And I had somebody do that to me maybe 6 weeks back,
Okay.
and I thought that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of started doing it since that time.
Well, you start to care about the people that you're seeing on social media. Like, all
Yeah.
right,
Oh,
look
what's
at
going
their,
on with them now?
you know,
Ooh,
they
look at
ran
that.
20 miles today.
I
Yeah.
thought it was cool when you did that, and I thought, wow, that kind of made me feel kind of special. I was like,
Aw,
oh,
you are kind of special.
Okay. But yeah, no, I thought that was really cool. I like that. That
Mm-hmm.
was cool. Very personable. Very.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like now I don't feel like a stalker when I look at your pictures, and you probably won't feel as stalkerish if you look at any of my stuff like you would, because yeah. But anyways, yeah.
You do cool stuff.
I always feel like anybody that is going to take the time to make a comment or follow or like, I mean, it seems superficial in a way, but I think that if if you're taking an effort to do anything, that you obviously you care something about that person.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't easily just make comments, or, a lot of things I just blow by.
Yeah.
But I think that, if you, for example, Krystal,
My daughter.
and,
volleyball player.
she made, I really don't know you that well. And so she felt a little uncomfortable approaching me when I was on my trip, and
yeah, I can talk about that.
yeah, we could talk about that a little bit as well.
Okay, so I have a daughter, Kaylee, who's 9, and she just connects with people, certain people. And after your wife passed, I think I was talking about it with my mom, and my heart was really heavy, and I'd seen you guys at a race or two, but didn't know you. And my daughter was very interested in the story, so I was telling her about it. And then the Lisa effect. You were posting things, and she was following along your journey, and she has this big map in her room. So she was tacking up everywhere that Todd was going. Wherever he would spread her ashes, she would tack. So she was following along on the journey, and every time he would post a video, she would go out into the yard, and she had like a sand with glitter in it. She would sprinkle some out into the yard for Lisa.
Yeah.
So she felt like a connection to Lisa, and she didn't even know, she doesn't know them. And then when, you guys finally met at Leadville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and it was just very touching for me when I was on my trip. So again, it's one of those things where Krystal felt kind of uncomfortable reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, Kaylee is doing this," but it's like, I mean, for me, anybody who's going to reach out and do something that's so kind, I mean, it's just amazing. And I think you should never feel uncomfortable if you're going to do something kind for another person,
Yeah.
whether you know them well or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had, not to talk about Leadville, but I had kind of a backstory there. I have 2 high school friends that live in Evergreen, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And they were both a year older than me in school. And of course, I went to small little Franklin Grove, so graduating class 28 people. So everybody knows everybody. And we played sports together in school. I have not seen the one guy, his name is John. I have not seen him since high school. And he reached out to me. We're of course connected on Facebook and Instagram. And, he's a big biker and has done some cross-country trips a number of different times. And so I followed him on his trips, and he follows me on my running. He knows nothing about ultra running. He's just fascinated by it. So he reached out to me after Lisa passed away and, offered condolences and said, if you would like to come and stay here, Mike, this is the other classmate, we would, be happy to have you come stay with us anytime. And I thought, that's great. I said, I'll be in Leadville again this year. But I don't have any other plans to come to Colorado this year anyway. So the week before Leadville, he reached out to me and said, if I was to come to Leadville, how could I connect with you?
Yeah.
So I said, there's 2 places, Twin Lakes, and I gave him kind of a time range on Saturday or on Sunday morning at the finish. And so you guys know what Twin Lakes was like.
There's about
Crazy.
5,000
That was the
people
crazy,
there.
That was the
Yeah.
That was the
crazy.
So
crazy station you were talking about?
we had a house close to there, and so we had gone back to the house to pick up some things, and we were late getting back. Not late to where we missed our runner, but we were later getting back than I expected we would be there. And so I dropped off our crew, and I started to drive out of town to park. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be 8 miles out of town. I have to run back. And I was fortunate. About a half mile out of town, right on the other side of where the shuttle pickup was, I found parking.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So I got my things in order to take with me because we were going to go and crew and then go on the shuttle to Winfield. And I came around the end of the van, and all of a sudden I hear, Todd!
Out of all those people.
It was John White.
No way.
Oh my gosh.
We have not seen each other since high school.
Wow.
He had given up on finding me.
Yeah.
And he was heading back to his car, which was 3 miles out of town.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And he recognized me from my Yeti Trail and Ultra Runners hat, pulled down low with my shades
Oh,
on.
good.
Wow.
And he's like, as soon as I saw the hat and the glasses, I knew it was you.
Wow.
And we had just an unbelievable connection.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where in our adult life, we don't know each other. He said to me, you probably find this really weird that I drove here to come see you. And I said, I really don't. I said, actually, I'm very honored
Yeah.
that you took time out of your life to come and see me. And he gave me a big hug, and tears just started streaming down his face. He was just so moved that, he just said to me, I'm so happy that you said that.
Yeah.
Because he was feeling a little bit anxious about coming to see
Yeah,
me.
that's
It felt a
weird
little
seeing
odd.
somebody for after that
Yeah.
long, but
Yeah,
but
after
you do feel
37
like-
years.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you feel a connection. I still feel a connection to the people I went to high school
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Certain ones.
You guys are like really right out of high school compared to.
No.
Wait, what?
No.
What are you talking about? We're about the same age.
Oh yeah, because you're
Yeah.
you're not the Marit over there.
No, I'm not. I'm short.
Remember,
older
she's the
Marit.
older, shorter
I'm
Mara.
the older, shorter Marit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the young one here.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. It's
But
okay.
that's really
We
great.
are like your Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
That's really fantastic. And then the Yeti running club that you had the hat on.
Yeah.
That is an amazing running club. They run 3 aid stations at the Hennepin 100, and they were down there this week measuring and planning and getting
awesome.
ready for their aid
Nice.
stations. And that race is successful because of a
Yeti's
huge
are
part of
awesome.
them.
I remember them when I did the 50. Totally remember that aid station.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they do so much together. I would want to hear. I mean, it's one of the tightest running clubs I think I know. So I
Yeah.
want to hear about like how they got started and.
So club is kind of a stretch. We're very organic in our organization, and that's why it works. So, I mean, a little bit of history about Yeti Trail and Ultra Runners. There were a group of us that started running together. We kind of met through the Survivor Series at Rock Cut, all from the Dixon area. And we started meeting for training runs on Saturday at Lowell Park and the Meadows Park where we run all the time, a park just north of Dixon. There were 6 or 8 of us who met on a regular basis, and that was for a few years. And it was only, the same core group of people. And then I think it was 2014-15, there were some other people that we met, and ultra running kind of started to come into the mix.
Okay.
We were already all trail running, but and I think it was Michele Schuler and Dawn Mace and Keith who said we need to come up with a name for our group.
Yeah.
So Keith had the Yeti Winter Trail Series, and so they said, well, let's call it Yeti Trail and Ultra Runners.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it started, and then within a week, Sean Ryan puts up a Facebook page.
Okay.
So all of a
Nice.
sudden, we are the Yeti Trail and Ultra Runners.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, then we have a graphic artist who's a part of the group who's doing different
awesome.
logos.
Yeah.
And so it all came together, I would say, officially as a group really, really quickly.
Uh-huh.
And it was still just kind of our core group of people. We started to add some people from the local road running group as well. And, so kind of organically it's just grown into about 400 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize there were that many people.
Yeah.
But our core group of people, every group has a core.
Yeah.
We kind of had a rule in the beginning that, at least on the Facebook page, there's some questions there. Are you from the area and all those things? We've kind of stretched that a little bit. If they have some connection to our group, then we are adding them. We have a lot of people from all over the.
Well, you guys ran an aid station at Kettle. You ran an aid,
Yes.
so you get to know people
Yes.
all
Right.
over.
Yeah. So what's really phenomenal about our group is that if somebody is in need, whether it be another race organization, in this case, Hennepin 100,
Yeah.
or just an individual, or, I mean, the support that I have received personally from this group is off the charts.
Yes.
I mean, it's really unbelievable. I consider them my family.
Yeah.
Without any doubt. But, that's kind of how we started, and it's just has really blown up, and we kind of had this idea that we would, inclusion, and, no man left behind on the group runs and all of those things. And it's just really exploded. I mean, if you're down at Potawatomi at the start finish, our camp and tent it's almost as big as the official
Yeah.
I remember seeing that
start
this year.
finish
Yeah.
aid station. We had 60 people down there last year.
Wow.
Between runners and support.
Wow.
Just amazing. We had over 20 people, registered for that race. Most of them were first-time ultra runners.
Yes.
That's
So
awesome.
we really have introduced people to ultra running. I used to show up at Lowell Park, with the exception of Saturday morning when I was meeting my friends. I would show up at Lowell Park and I would never see another runner. Now when I show up at Lowell Park, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, I see race stickers on the back of cars.
Yeah.
And
That's
I know
great.
who
I love
all
it.
of
You
those
know your
people
home.
are.
You
You're
know
with
your
your
people.
people.
Yeah, and I know who they all are.
Yeah.
And they're all people from our group, and they're all people that came to our group after the fact. A lot of them were road runners. Some of them just got into running. There's all kinds of different ways that people have come to our group. But
So people from like the Rockford area, the Byron, Sterling, Rock Falls, what other areas would
I mean-
I could travel. I
too.
I
Let's
would
go.
travel there. It's not that far.
primarily, our group is comprised of people from Dixon and
Dixon.
Sterling Rock Falls.
Okay.
And then we have, kind of expanded our scope, just by growing organically and meeting people and being at places like the Hennepin 100 and Kettle Moraine and just being involved in, what the community is in ultra running.
Yes.
So if you meet so many people, and then people see your hat, or they see your shirt and where can I get one of those? And tell me about your group and all of those things. So then we start adding more people. I have another Leadville story from last year.
Okay.
We were walking down the main drag, and this was on Sunday. We had just left the finish. The race had just ended. And Keith had on a Yeti Trail and Ultra Runner hat, and a woman approached him and said, "I love that hat. Are you from the group down south?" And he said no. He said, "We're from the Chicago area, from Illinois." And she said, "I would love to have one of those hats." So he took it off and gave it to her.
Oh,
my
that would be
gosh, that's
Keith.
Keith.
So that's Keith.
So nice.
But that's the kind of thing that that we do, and that's just the kind of group that we are. And you mentioned Keith, and of course Keith is a big part of that.
Yes.
Because he's
Papa
so
Yeti.
Papa
Yeti.
Yeti, because he's so caring and so giving.
Papa
and,
Yeti.
I love the name, Papa Yeti.
Yeah. So I think the whole group kind of has stemmed from that type of attitude.
Yeah. You
You guys
guys
are all so amazing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Everyone
Thank
I've met
you.
so far from the Yetis are just top notch.
I don't know how
I
many
feel
I've
so
met.
welcomed.
I mean, I haven't identified them as being all Yetis. Yeah, but you talked about pot.
Mm-hmm.
I went there. Guess why? To volunteer all night.
Yes. The
Good.
expert.
Good for you.
And then Saturday, because a friend of mine's like, "I'm going. You want to come? You can stay in my tent." And she had a heater, and Tiffany Dord, you know her.
Mhm,
Okay.
I do.
So, come on.
Everybody
She-
knows
She
Tiffany.
had an extra bed. I have to do nothing. We had a heater. I'm sweating in the middle of the night until it turned
Yeah.
off. And then, anyways. So I volunteered all night. And then I was like, Saturday was beautiful this year. You remember Saturday?
It was
Okay.
unbelievable.
So I finished volunteering. I'm like, I'm going to take a nap. And I was talking to the race director and whatnot. And I'm like, can I run? They're like, sure, we'll sign you up for the 30 miler. So I did the 30 miler, and I just took my time. I'm taking, you look at my Facebook, you can see I was just taking pictures. I'm like, hey, will you take a picture of me by this tree? And it was so awesome. Like, people are just so awesome. It was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun race.
Yeah,
I like
it is.
that.
It's a very fun race.
And yeah, the Yetis definitely show up and
Yeah, I remember
represent
that
there.
tent. I remember that tent. It was huge. Huge.
Yeah. We call it the wedding tent.
Oh, nice.
Because it's huge.
It's giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that's got the windows.
Yeah, that's a
on it.
really,
Yeah.
the arched windows on it, and
It's fancy.
It's very fancy.
It shows up at a lot of races.
That's all Keith.
It's like
Yeah,
a big
I know. Keith makes it a job to
Oh yeah.
set up.
Oh yeah. He loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves it.
You helped Keith mark the course at Kettle before you ran the 100-mile race.
I did. I went up there earlier in the week. I think maybe it was on Tuesday, and helped Keith mark part of the course. I think for me, trail stewardship and I think is and supporting the ultra running community, whether it be through trail stewardship, volunteering, pacing, crewing, whatever it is, I'm all in. Mm-hmm. And I think it's such an incredible thing to do. And I think a lot of that stems from the people that are involved in it, and the people that I have met in ultra running is just some of the best people that I've ever met. And some of them are my best friends, and I can see them being my best friends until the end of my days.
Yes.
Agreed.
So
Friends.
Yes.
friends.
Looking at you,
Best friends.
Liz. I can bother Liz because she lives close to me.
Yeah, you can. You can.
So yeah, for me, I really enjoy that part of it, almost more than the running part, because running's hard.
Yeah, it is.
It
Well,
is
you
hard.
make it look pretty easy.
Oh, it's
how,
not easy.
how,
It's fun.
how much do you run every day?
Well, of course, like everybody else, it depends on what I'm training for.
Yeah.
Since Kettle, I have really kind of taken it easy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm still doing 30 or 40 miles a week,
Okay, that's
but
good,
I'm
consistent.
bumping up because I'm doing minor 49er.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
In November, so that's a 50K.
Okay.
So I've done a 15-mile race, and I have the 10-mile race on Saturday.
Oh, Tiger 10 miler.
Tiger
Yeah.
10 miler.
Yeah, Chris from
And I'm
Hoff.
singing
Yeah.
the national anthem.
You are?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
no
he's,
way.
He's,
So bummed
he's,
I'm missing
he's poached
that.
me.
I'm so
He's poached
bummed I
me
can't
from
go.
Yeah.
the Hennepin 100.
Did I ask? So
Yeah, you
so-
did ask.
Yeah, Todd is did I ask in front of Chris? So Todd
No.
is singing the national anthem at Hennepin 100,
No.
and
Ooh, I'll
he's
be
done
there
it
for that
before.
one.
Oh, yay,
It
I'm
is
there.
bone
I'm there.
chilling when
Yay.
he sings.
Yay, yay.
So
It's that bad. It chills your bones.
That's hilarious. Wear a hoodie. Wear sweatpants. Right?
it's really good. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but I consistently run. I mean,
Yeah.
I took a week off after Kettle.
Okay.
And then started back into running again.
but you kept up your push-up.
Oh,
challenge.
absolutely. Yeah, I never missed.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I missed when I was running. I didn't stop during my 100-mile run and
Okay.
do push-ups. But I have push-ups either banked or I do them
Okay, I
after.
see.
Okay.
afterward.
Bank them.
Yeah.
So there have been days that have been missed. I mean, you're only human. But,
Yeah.
I usually either have them banked already or I always make them up.
Yeah.
So you
Always.
have a certain number you do?
100.
100
every day.
push-ups.
Every
sit-up- Or push-ups, planks. 6-minute plank?
Yeah. So I do 100 push-ups every day.
Okay.
Every day.
Okay.
That's
The
a
planks
lot.
I do 6 days a week. And I do
6-minute ones?
6-minute plank every day.
OMG. Goodness gracious.
And that's a combination of straight forearm planks and side planks.
Okay.
I'm not holding a 6-minute. I could hold a 6-minute plank, but I'm doing variations. So,
Wow.
and then the pull-ups.
See,
And then run.
I could do the first two, but those pull-ups, no.
Pull-ups
Noodle
are
arms. Noodle-
actually pull-ups are difficult. I think I think they're difficult for women
Yeah.
because it takes a lot of shoulder
Oh,
strength,
good,
and
good. I'm not
there are a lot
alone.
that can do
Yeah.
them too. I probably shouldn't
It's
have
not
said
just
that.
me.
Well, you are with all
They're
women.
difficult
Be
for
careful.
anybody. I mean, when I started doing the pull-ups,
Mm-hmm.
on January 1st, I could only do like 4
Wow.
at one time, and now I do sets of 10 and 15 easily.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Was there ever a time that you would have not thought you would be capable of doing that?
I feel every day right now that I'm not capable of doing that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I always tried to, pull-ups are one of those things I always tried to incorporate into my workout that I could just never get on board with.
Yeah.
Too damn hard.
They are
Hard.
so hard.
It's
I've
hard.
done them too, and they're
I dread doing that routine every day.
Yeah.
I sometimes put it off right till the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, why did I put that off all day?
Because then all day it's dread. You're like,
yeah, I
I'm
know.
so
All day
hungry.
it's like I have to do these damn push-ups
Do
and
the
pull-ups.
push-ups.
And, but it gets that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Running's not like that. Running is just so easy to do. In fact, it's hard for me to take a day off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm not going to run today. My day's shot.
You mentioned Lowell Park.
Yeah.
So I haven't run out there. I want to, like, how, tell me about it. I can look it up on my All Trails and take a.
So Lowell Park is, it's a Dixon City park.
Okay.
Okay. But it is just north of town, a couple miles. Lowell Park is, there's maybe 5 miles worth of trails, that you may have to repeat a little bit to get that nice 5-mile loop, but it's all on a hill. So you're either going up or you're going down. I mean, there's some
Okay.
nice runnable as well. And then that connects to Meadows Park, which is
And is this
miles
where
and-
Keith's races are at?
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
between the
Downhill.
Lowell Park and the Meadows Park. Meadows Park is connected to Lowell Park with it's a rails to trails
Okay.
from Dixon to Lowell Park. Actually, that connects all the way up to Freeport to the Jane Addams and continues
Oh, okay.
on. But
Oh,
Very cool.
so that trail connects the Meadows and Lowell Park, and then alongside of the rails to trails, there's single track as well.
okay.
That's maintained by volunteers
Wow.
Yeah.
and for mountain biking and running. So we utilize those trails as well.
Yeah. How far of a drive is that from your house?
From my house,
Yeah.
I'm 2 miles from.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Although I
That's
wouldn't
really
mind
nice.
running by
Sweet.
your house on those beautiful country roads
Yeah,
by all
let's
the
do it.
barns.
I do that as well, but then you're on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
is
I
it
do it-
gravel some of the places?
not around my house. It's not.
Okay.
It's all pavement.
I feel when we did the run across Illinois, I feel like we saw a lot of gravel,
You
but
probably-
probably
yeah.
not at your house.
No,
Yeah.
it's a lot of pavement there, and where I live, just outside of Dixon, is because of all of the paved roads. It's like biking mecca for
Oh,
Dixon.
I'm sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have groups of 10, 20 go by our house every weekend.
Wow.
And daily riders as well. And I've offered people water before. And when people are out doing training runs, they know where I live or rides.
Yeah.
They know they can stop by and get a water if they need one. So
Oh, nice.
That is cool.
And then the Yeti Running Club, you guys kayak now too. I saw
Well,
the Yeti kayakers.
yeah, the Yeti kayakers. So we have, a lot of us in the group have been kayaking for a long time, and I'm one of those people. But we've been, throwing it out there lately that, hey, let's get a group together and do some kayaking. And we did an event last Sunday, late afternoon, and went partway from between Rockford and Byron down to Byron to the Hairy Cow
Okay.
Brewery and had
Oh yeah,
some
I've heard
pizza
lots
and-
about that.
Yeah,
I
it's a
keep
great
seeing that.
great place.
Yeah, is it cool?
Yeah, great place. So we've been doing that quite a lot as well. We enjoy spending time together.
Yeah.
And so just another activity that we can do together as a group and just kind of continue. And that may interest other people as well. So try to kind of build the group.
Yeah, yeah.
Even more.
I
I've
think
never been kayaking before.
I have, and I love it. And I haven't gotten to do it like this year or very much lately. But I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah, we had
cool.
somebody with us on Sunday who had never been on a kayak before. She was on there for 5 minutes and said, I'm going to go buy one because she had borrowed one
Yeah.
from somebody.
Oh, I want one bad. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
where
mean,
to
it's
put
such
it.
it's a lot of fun, and it's a very low cost activity.
yes.
Yeah.
And,
So you
and we
can
don't-
run in the morning and then go kayak in the
Well, I don't
afternoon
know
and
if you
rest your
see-
legs.
I do that. I set myself up a little adventure where I do a bike kayak run all the same day.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, yeah, you guys live in a great area. You guys
Yeah,
have
because we have the Rock
everything.
River.
Yeah.
We do. We have everything right there within just 5 minutes of my house.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Dixon
yeah.
is such a cute town. I love
haven't-
it.
I don't think I've
I
really
love the
even
arch when you
been there.
go into the downtown. Oh, it's so
I don't
cute
even know if
down
I've-
there.
Yep.
I've probably been through there.
We'll have to road trip. We'll take the
Road
Ornery Mule
trip.
van.
Girls go road. Dirt girls go road tripping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get the dirt on everybody in
Let's get the
Dixon.
dirt.
You can come stay at my house. I have lots of space to
There
stay.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yay.
Awesome. Yeah. And kayaks are pretty cheap.
They are.
Right? I mean, you
well,
can
they
get a cheap one.
just
You can
like
get an
just like any
inexpensive
other
one.
Just like
sport.
any
Just
other
like a
sport,
bike,
yep.
you can get a cheap bike. Or,
Correct.
I mean,
You can spend $150 or you can spend $5,000.
Whoa.
5,000.
Okay.
Sure.
Seriously? Wow.
Yep.
Does it have air conditioning and does it
No.
serve you a drink?
Those are
and-
the ones that like lock you in.
Oh yeah,
I
I,
bet.
I
The
was
fancy
never in a
ones.
fancy one like that. No.
I want one that if I flip over, I can just
It'll
swim
flip you
out
back
of.
over.
I don't want
not
to be
gonna-
stuck in it.
You're not going to flip over on the Rock River or on a
Okay.
lake.
Okay.
You would have to stand
Or on
up.
the
You would have
Hennepin
to
Canal.
try.
Yeah.
That's what people have a misconception about the kayak, that it's going to be so easy to tip over. And when
It's
you're
not.
sitting down in the kayak, no.
think canoe
it's
is
ex-
worse. Do you think
canoe
canoe
is
is worse?
much worse.
Canoe is worse.
I flipped
okay.
over in a canoe once.
Yeah,
Just-
kayaks are extremely stable.
Yeah.
The the typical ones that people use for the river or
So for
Lakes.
listeners, they can go to the Yeti Facebook page to find it, to sign up for all the, or to connect
out.
with you
to
guys
connect
do
with
this.
us. Sure.
Yeah, because you don't have sign-ups or anything like
No.
that, except for Keith's races.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's completely has nothing to do with the Yeti Trail and Ultra Runners.
Yeah.
So,
Well, except for he's Papa.
yeah, he
Yeti.
is
Yeti.
Papa
Yeti.
Yeti, but then he has his own races.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
We're all
Good.
heavily involved in, of course, but we're
Yes.
heavily involved in a lot of races.
you are. Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us?
No. Our time's up already?
It is.
I
Oh
just
my
said
gosh,
we
I
hit
could
45
talk
minutes.
forever.
Wow.
Goodness.
Well, why don't we have you back again right
do it.
away?
I could do that.
Yeah, let's do that. But we're very proud of you, and and thank you for being the great role model that you are
Yes.
to
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
so many
So
people.
glad I met you and you introduced yourself to me.
Yeah.
Went at the
I mean, not just on
Hennepin-
social
and
media.
not just
Yeah.
at the poker run. Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah.
Poker Run was a blast.
Oh
by
my
the way.
God,
It's a
it was
great.
fun.
It's a great idea.
That was-
Yeah, we need to do more of those.
I agree.
that was a
I'll do
blast.
more.
I
so.
really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
How many miles did you get at the poker run?
16.
Yeah,
Nice.
just a nice,
Nice.
easy. Yeah, I just made what I wanted to do. I'm like, that would be fun because then you can see people.
Yeah.
Make it rather short out and back, and it makes it a lot easier.
I thought it was a great idea.
and you're playing a game.
Yeah,
at the
I thought it was
same
a great
time.
idea.
Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So you go to ornerymuleracing.com and we'll have some more poker runs.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And we have our all-night aid station person there.
Oh, Liz.
I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dad.
See you soon.